Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now we have a lot happening at the current moment. In the last part, we had Deku. Deku began to learn more about his abilities. He put some pieces together and decided to start taking a bit more action. Many zombies avoid him. Some have attacked him, and the results have been interesting. After the first few times where zombies attacked him, some began to understand they should not try that. However, this meant quite a bit of things. Deku willingly infected a deceiver with his blood to see what would happen. After it began to obey him, he decided to try another test. And while that was happening over at UA, there was Nejire. Nejire and the group are trying to debate a few things. Deku came to them 2 days ago, and he talked about how UA, he's willing to help them. He's still the same person as he was before. However, it's kind of hard to look your dead ex-boyfriend in the face after he died 5 months ago. And Nejire, she even witnessed Izuku attacking people after they tried to kill him. Him just ripping them to shreds and feasting on them. This is not something easy for her to overcome. They're hiding the information from Setsuna. And she was drinking whenever she talked to Mei, and then she talked to Shizuki. How are you supposed to come to terms with someone you loved being dead, standing right in front of you? And they're a fucking monster. You've seen the thing they've had to do to continue on. Hell, Mina was fucking deranged, insane. Just not acting like a human anymore, not civilized. She was barbaric, had enhanced abilities, and had her quirk. Deku, if he has his abilities, I mean, he smacked bullets out of the air as if they were nothing. If he wanted to, he could bum rush the men and attack them. Smart zombies are intelligent. Deku would strategize, but this was flat out straightforwards, non-confrontational. He looked sad whenever he talked about a few things. And this just makes her question it more. She, with all of her heart, wants to believe this is the Izuku she loved. But Shizuki, whenever she asked him that question, whether it was still the same man, he didn't know how to answer it. And this man's a doctor. But even he does not know much about the undead. Though, given the circumstances, he's the closest thing to an expert they might have. Now, a few days have passed by. The group, they have talked about a lot of things. Nejire, however, her and Bakugo are divided on one thing: getting aid from Izuku. And we do currently have Bakugo right now. He does sit there, on the side of his bed, thinking, fumbling around with an empty bottle. And it's not good. What would Deku do in this situation? They tried to work with the military to blow up the hive, and that did not work out. They tried to gather people together, poison military supplies, and are trying to wait out the winter. That was the original plan how to deal with the military. His group is no longer supplying the military. One of the groups they do know have gone dark. So, this winter, if not, they should go down. He has had another idea. Mei and Melissa are working on something that should help them. But this idea is also not good. The military will need medicine. The moment they realize their people are infected and they can't do much about it, they'll break down, kick out, or kill the infected. They might already be doing that. So, sit out their gates with loaded guns. It's an idea. make sure they just stay locked indoors all winter. They might try to reaffirm their grip on the city. They control the power. So if they're suffering and you don't play ball, no one gets to stay warm this winter. Just them. It's something that he's had a thought about. They need to take them out. But how are you supposed to fight a war when there are supposed to be casualties? He wants a lot of people to survive this. He's just not sure if he's willing to kill innocent people to see tomorrow. Along with that, there's also one other idea. If those people aren't innocent, he's heard whispers from other groups. Some groups they have, smaller ones inside the city, they've gone quiet, they've gone dark. They run to the military for help. They weren't involved. There's even the heroes. How do they approach the heroes about going to war with the military? I mean, worst comes to worst, the heroes work with them. And that is a really bad option. How do you bring this up? There's been talks, a lot of them. Their group is the only one right now that knows about the robots under UA, except for potentially the Hero Association. If they don't activate those robots first, they're not going to have a very good advantage. But the last time they went there, they lost Jiro. And Jiro infected Deku. If they trust Izuku here, one of them, if not all of them, can be infected and Setsuna could die. Kendo bring her hand on Abakugo's back. Him going on turn as she does ask him if he's okay. No. I'm trying to just think about a few things, and I'm just coming up empty on it again. Are you sure? I am. If you were just making a living and there were evil people protecting you, and you were attacked, how would you feel? People that do things to ensure your survival for you. I mean, you knew it was happening and maybe you turned a blind eye, or maybe you didn't know it was happening. What then? I don't know. I'm sure they're aware that the military are doing trades. But there was a but there, Kendo. Hey, calm down. I can't. If they don't go down this winter, we have to act. I'm tired of just not being listened to. I think maybe Nedre is right. We need to activate the robots, but that's going to be a bigger challenge. We're talking about going back to UA and trying to clear out a school infested with zombies, connected to the nest. That's a monumental undertaking. Then there's Mina. Last time someone fired something at her, she didn't go down. I think we need that boomstick. If we can at least punch her in half or just set her on fire, something. It could work. Deku took off that one guy's entire upper head and he stayed down. Maybe the entire brain needs to be destroyed. Okay. I'm just saying, if we can take the boomstick and trick Izuku, catch him off guard, maybe it could work. Maybe we can get him. Someone knocking on Bakugo's door. and he does this on turn, jumping up as Kendo does this one grab the blanket. Her going to pull it up a bit more since right now things are a little complicated. She needs to get ready for the day. She's going to be on guard duty. And right now there is where Bakugo does a crack open the door, asking about exactly what's going on. And we do currently have Setsuna, who does ask Bakugo if he knows where Nejire is. Hey, no, I haven't seen her this morning. Is something wrong? No, it's just, I thought she'd be in her room. She's not on guard duty today. Along with that, well, I heard that Chizuki was supposed to be taking care of Eri, but Tamaki's taking care of her. Seriously? Bakugo stepping out of the room, asking Setsuna if one of the cars are here. Why? Just asking. Is anyone else missing? I don't know. I just found out what was going on. What's happening? Bakugo going to turn, making his way back into the room and trying to find his radio. Him pulling up in a drawer and grabbing it before bringing his hand up and expressing. Going to press the buttons, asking if Nejire or Chizuki are on this line. Hey, I'm going to wait a second. Before Nejire, currently sitting in the car, does get to bring her hand up, talking about it. She's here. Where are you? Where are you guys at? Nejire? We're sitting outside the city. Why? Is this about Bakugo turning, expressing the zombie guy? Nejire noticing that Bakugo freezed for expressing the guy they can trust. And Setsuna does stare at this, looking at Bakugo. Bakugo talking about it. They can't. It's better to put him down. He might have been someone they once knew, but it's not going to work. They need to make sure to take his head off. If they can't, then he'll infect them. What exactly does she think is going to happen when he gets there? Chizuki is going to get there and try to perform tests, but the moment they fall asleep, Izuku, him going to turn his head, and Setsuna stares to at Bakugo. Izuku? Bakugo staring at her. Before Kendo does a jump up, her going to express, bring her hands up and trying to lead Setsuna out. However, Setsuna does immediately go to turn, asking why he said Izuku. And Bakugo does a turn, expressing to her. He'll tell her a bit more about this later. But listen, Izuku wouldn't want them to work with this guy. Bakugo trying to save and rephrase what he was about to say. However, Setsuna clearly knows that's not what he meant. He meant something differently. However, Kendo is leading Setsuna out of the room, trying to calm her down a little bit more. Since how about they take a step outside and get some fresh air? And Bakugo is a walk over, close, and lock the door, turning around and going to walk out to the balcony, expressing to Nejire. Nejire needs to come back and talk with Setsuna. She made him slip a little. She knows that something's going on with a zombie guy. He almost mentioned Izuku. However, she's now suspicious. And whose fault is that? It's yours. Why aren't you listening to me? We can't trust him. We're not trying to trust him. We're trying to work with him. Besides, you don't think I already know that? Nejire, you're emotional about this. You're connected to it too closely. And you're not? Bakugo's sitting there. Before Nejire talks about it. Currently, her moving her legs around a bit in the vehicle, as Shizuki, he does go to put the car back in the drive. Currently going to drive in the city as Nejire does express to him. She has the blunderbuss with him. Right now, it's her, Shizuki, and Mei. They're going to try and see what condition Yue is in. And if they can't trust Izuku, she'll make sure to take his head off. That's going to be a promise. She's aware that this isn't the same Izuku as he was before. Fact of the matter is, though, it's still a bit trouble. It's going to cut out. And Bakugo does sit there. Nejire. Nejire? Are you there? Nejire. Shit. Him bring the walkie-talkie up to his head. Since she's out of range. Of course she's out of fucking range. Okay. So they are going to try to get to UA, but that's gonna take. No, if he tries to go. Okay. One of the other cars. No, that won't work. Fuck. There's that one thing. The cart? No. It's probably not even operational yet. That was more May's project anyway. Okay. If he starts walking now, he can get to the safe house. The cars will be too loud. They are going to draw attention with a large moving vehicle. Though, my god. Momo and Todoroki are out at the bunker. Damn it. This group is fucking falling apart. No one wants to listen to him, and no one seems to understand. They have to all work together. This is starting to piss him off. He tries to give directions and give instructions to people. But half the time they'll listen, half the time they won't. They'll take it as a suggestion more like it, and go about doing what they think they should do. It's not good. Okay. But what can he do right now? Nejire's Nejire. She's gonna be like this forever. At least give her some support? No. He can try and figure this out. Salvage it. If he's too close to it from her point of view, and she's too close to it from his, it doesn't make sense to... Okay. Think about this from Izuku's point of view. Do the unexpected, right? Don't be angry at her. Talk with her. God damn it. This is going to Bakugo's mind. He can try to talk to her. Try and see what they can do there. But at the same time, if it doesn't work out for her, if things go bad, what's that going to mean? It's not going to mean very much, but it's kind of all they've got. And right now, let us cut over to UA. Deku, he's been fortifying and doing a lot of things for the last 5 days. He's been trying to get this place ready for guests. Get it ready for a lot of people. However, he's not too sure if they'll accept his invitation. Shizuki is a definite maybe. He was morbidly intrigued to know more about what's going on inside his bloodstream. Maybe he should thank that man for the information he gave him. All that information, and he discovered something else he could do. Though this definitely does mean quite a bit. And right now, Izuku, he does turn, bring his hand up, and going to think about what else he could do. Currently, him hearing a sound. Before turning his head, unfocusing his hearing and hearing footsteps down the road. Thinking about it, if he goes to check it out, he might encounter humans. People who've thought about coming to UA before. However, they'll see how infested it is and then go away. It's been like that before. A lot has happened. Though, let's see. Him walking over to a wall, going to somewhat hide behind it, and then beginning to close his eyes, trying to figure out how many people are there. Him hearing one strong heartbeat, hearing another one, hearing one that sounds slightly off, and then hearing one that's slightly fainter. Before he does get a turn looking out the window. Okay, they must be farther away than he thinks. He can't hear anything at all. Okay. Further down the road, maybe? Perhaps. Though if they're just passing by, he'll leave them alone. Not worth encountering. If they're not crazy, then they're not worth it. Though, he is going to get hungry soon. He needs to go hunting whenever he can. He also should check up on Mina. Him walking into another room, before bending down and bringing his hand down onto her head, checking to see how she's doing. She's been out for some time, ever since he gave her his blood. She's just been laying here, comatose. It's been strange. He's been here with his thoughts and alone for the last couple of days. Silent, for the most part. Though what exactly does that mean? Plenty of time to think. Plenty of time to start a new journal. He remembers he started to use this other journal, 13, to keep track of a lot of things for the end times. So, he already has number 14. Yeah, that's certainly something. Deku's sitting there and beginning to transcribe a few things. He likes to do this, keep track of a lot of things. It helps him keep his mind clear, helps him feel a little more normal. And we do currently have the group in the car: Nejire, Chizuki, and Mei Hatsume. These three are heading to UA. It is going to be a bit of a trip, an undertaking. However, when they do arrive at the location, things should be simpler, to put it more likely. However, that's going to be a bit of a problem. If things go wrong on the way there, or Izuku is no longer like himself, it'll be hard to handle. Nejire can abuse this weakness he tries to show. Or is that weakness a facade? It's one of the thoughts rolling through her mind. How do you fake that amount of sincerity? The eyes. They're the most honest part of his face. I mean, from what she heard, Mina's eyes were deranged and wild, but Deku's were calm. They were steady. They were nice to see again. Currently, Chizuki pulling the vehicle to a stop, before he has a turn and express about how they have a bit of a problem. Currently, Nejire turning her head, looking up to see the road's been blocked off. And that doesn't look very good. What the hell? Oh, wasn't this road open last time we drove it? I think so. Okay. Is there another way around? Not really. This was the route you gave me, right? It was? The other routes are a bit too narrow to go on. Though, if we leave the truck here, it's going to be a bit more of a problem. Her going to look around, not seeing any zombies, and going to climb out. Currently, her pulling her knife and walking over to this barricade. Okay, so there are vehicles. Let's see what she can do. Nejire noticing a few zombies down the road. Her moving towards the vehicles and going to get a better look at them. Their tires are clearly flat, so whoever did this, they knew what they were doing. Their windows are broken. There's still some paint on these cars, though. Like they were driven here? No, that doesn't make sense. If the paint was new... No. Okay, this is a bit weird. Her staring at the cars. The tires are slashed. The paint looks somewhat taken care of. Okay, maybe she's overthinking this. These cars weren't from around the area. Someone brought them here. Were they in a garage? But those places are dangerous to go to. She can think of one probably a few blocks away, but that's it. Okay, they're just a few blocks away from UA, though. They have Chizuki's lab basically packed up in that vehicle, and if they can't get past this, that's definitely gonna suck. Her and May might be able to... No, they can't. Okay. Maybe try and check an alleyway nearby. Go through that. If they can get through it, they should be fine. If they need to run over some zombies, they can run over some. But if that doesn't work out, then it's definitely going to be bad. Her turning her head before hearing the sound of a gun being cocked. And someone, they do go to slowly step out from behind one of the vehicles, telling her about how she should really keep her hands exactly where they can see him. And Chizuki does get to see this. Him turning to May in the back seat, talking about how they've got some trouble. Currently, May gonna bring her hand down and grab her gun before rolling down the window as Nejire does a turn. Her still with her hands up, talking about how they need to stay inside. And Deku, he currently is sitting down trying to write in his notebook, thinking about a few things. Okay. He's gotten a lot written down. So he should go out hunting. See what he could do. Get some food. Maybe try and see what Mina's doing. Currently going to turn, bring his hand down and grabbing onto her shoulder. But she's still out. This can't be healthy for her, right? She hasn't eaten. She's just been catatonic. Okay, so maybe his experiment didn't do things too good. He just wants her to get up. Or wake up? Maybe. Deku bring his hand over her head, thinking about what to do. To leave? Maybe. Though if he does leave right now and hunt, she's going to be vulnerable. That thing is still inside UA to protect her. But maybe not. This is going through his mind. Currently, him getting to his feet and going to make his way to a window. Before he does, could climb out of it and look down. Going to move and jump down. Currently, Deku smashing onto the ground and then getting back to his feet. Before going to turn and make his way towards some of the people he heard. He wants to investigate, see exactly what they're doing. If they're just down the road, he'll be able to find them. Check and see if they're hostile. If they're not, move on. If they are, well, looks like he has lunch. So there definitely is that thing. And we do cut back over to Nedre. Nedre does stare at a group of 5 people, all of whom are talking about a few things. Right now, she's made one little mistake. They want everything her and her friends might have. So, drop the knife, slowly remove the belt, and then tell her friends to get out of the vehicle. After that happens, then they're free to go. They're just going to take their shit and leave. No hard feelings. And Nedre does hold her hands up. Before the person, they do going to bring their weapon into the air and talk about it. They'll fire a shot. Everything within the next few miles will hear it. So, if she does not want this place crawling with zombies and some of those flying fucking creatures, then she'll listen. If she doesn't, then guess what happens? All of them are in a little bit more trouble. So, tell her friends to get out of the car now. And Nedre does understand. Her going to drop her knife and stare at the people, who do have their weapons trained on her. And someone, they do aim their weapon towards the car. The person informing their allies to get a bit closer, but keep a distance. The car can probably ram the barricade, but they're not too sure about it getting through. It would take too much to do so. But who knows? They might try. They don't know how well her allies know her. And Nedre, she just slowly move down towards her belt, beginning to unbuckle it and drop it to the ground. It with her gun still in the holster. And the group, they do currently have their weapons trained on Shizuki's vehicle. Him going to hold his hand up as people, they do stare at him. Since someone, they think he has a second hand, trying to yell at the man to show both. Though Shizuki, he does bring up his arm, showing off he's missing one of them. And they do just want to stare at this. Them somewhat laughing about the situation. And there currently is Mei. Mei does have a gun in her hand, thinking about what to do. Her going to roll down the window and ask them exactly if they're in need of blacksmith. What the hell are you talking about? Just saying, if you're looking for some tech, I'm your girl. Seriously? What? Girls gotta make a living somehow. Besides, I'm sure you guys wouldn't shoot someone who knows how to make some solar panels. Solar panels? You know, you can get energy, you can pay the military, or plug in. From my understanding, a lot of groups out here play ball. Do you guys? I mean, we're heading towards a side of the city that's a bit iffy on it. I mean, the crazies are, what, 5 miles down the road? Not too far away. And from what I can tell, you guys don't look crazy. May bring her hand up, talking about it, going to open the door and step out, her gun in her waistband, telling all of them, how about right now they make a bit of a deal? She knows how to make a few things, including gunpowder. Why would that be useful? Just saying. It's pretty good. Mei stepping forwards, opening the passenger door slowly, expressing. In fact, she has something that she does want to show them all. It could be pretty good. Her going to move slowly and bring her hand out to the blunderbuss. Gonna grab it and talk about it. It's not loaded, but it's something she made. Pulling it out slowly, and everyone, they do watch May. Her talking about it. This little thing here, she made specifically to handle some of the bigger threats. And in fact, she'd say it's pretty good. Her bring her hand up and grabbing it. Everyone flinching as May talks about it, going to bring it down while holding it still up in the air. This little puppy here, she made specifically to deal with groups of zombies. In fact, she's pretty sure it could punch its way through a deceiver. Seriously? Someone lowering their weapon and telling the others to do so. Everyone staring at May. If that was a loaded gun, this girl would have to be crazy to just act like it's not. Shit. It looks pretty good though. It's big. It's almost like a giant musket. That in their minds. May does a step forwards, talking about it. The person still with Nedre at gunpoint. And Nedre does get a turn. Her going to get ready. That thing is loaded. May has one hell of a fucking game face. But right now, that's a problem. Okay, the guy's attention, it's divided. So, what can she do? No, her gun's still in the holster. If she goes for it, it won't happen. The knife. She needs the knife. She can get a good toss off. She can hit him. The shoulder? A heart? No, no. She needs to aim for the throat or the head. One of the two. If she can hit them, it'll be good. The person still with a gun aimed at Nedre, talking about it, turning to look at her friend, talking about how the girl does seem to be a bit crazy. And May, she currently does stand a few steps looking at these people, just 9 paces in front of them, talking about it. This thing here, though, she can mass produce. Only took her about a week to make one, though it does take a few 2x4s. Some basic stuff, along with an understanding as to how exactly to reload it. I mean, it's simple. Metal balls, stuff like that. They're easy to find. Currently, the person staring at the weapon. Their attention a lot less on Nedre. And Nedre does notice that. Her going to quickly bend down and grab the knife, bring it up and throwing it to okay the person. It going flying through the air as May, was staring at Nedre the whole time. Currently, whenever she saw her bend down, she did one thing. Lowered the weapon and sent a massive blast at everyone, pulling the trigger and watching this entire area be flooded with shrapnel. The metal balls were sent flying, spraying out and striking their targets, along with barreling their way into the metal vehicles of the barricade. Anjiski, he hears this massive boom go off, along with the fact that right now he has a turn, and there is the man, he does sit there, currently a knife embedded in his chest, looking down at it and bringing his hand down, staring directly at it. And there actually was Izuku, who, he heard that sound, turning and going to make his way towards that, since that was louder than a shotgun blast. No, that can't be. Was that a cannon? A cannon. That was the blunderbuss. Him moving. And we do actually have May, who does go turn and look directly where Nedre should be standing. But Nedre, there was her. She threw the knife. But whenever that massive cocoon went off through the area, the man pulled the trigger. And she does currently sit there. Currently her laying on the ground as a massive wound is in her gut. And she is trying to hold on to the area. She's bleeding. Currently her laying there. And it feels warm. It feels warm. She's been shot. That must be what that is, right? She threw the knife, then felt this sensation and hit the ground. Funny. She didn't remember falling. She. Her bring her hand up, and seeing the massive amount of blood, her fingers are twitching. She can't feel them now. Her ears are ringing. Oh, was that the blunderbuss? What happened? Currently, they're being a loud crash. And Deku, he does something to smash down, standing there on one of the vehicles. Before, he has a look around, seeing some of the people who do stand here. Some of them were hit. They're dealing with their injuries, trying to recover and get back up. And a man does lay there. He was grazed in the neck, but he was hit in the side of the head and the shoulders. He was alive. However, that's not too good. But when Izuku turned his head and saw Chizuki in Mei, he did a turn, looking around because he could hear another heartbeat. One that sounded more familiar, but it was weaker. And Deku, the moment he sees Nejire laying on the ground, clutching at her wound, he felt alarm. Mei turning and seeing Izuku, him running over and bending down, her turning her head and seeing Deku, his eyes full of surprise, full of alarm, before he does bring his hand down and look at this. No, 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 no. Izuku? Nejire, listen, you're gonna be okay. I'm here. I'm here. Izuku, I must be dead. I remember seeing you, but you look different. What's going on with your hair? Nejire, stay with me. Deku bring his hand up. And Nejire, she does try and bring her other hand up before Izuku does bring his hand down, grabbing the wound and checking it. That's... No, 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 no. Him being surprised, overwhelmed. And there is Mei, who does a turn and yell for Deku. And Izuku, he does a turn, trying to pick her up. However, the moment he doesn't move, there is where something does begin to also start to happen. Deku does feel something weird happen on his arm, though he does go to try and just hold on to Nejire, moving over towards the vehicle. And whenever this is to happen, there is where Izuku does actually set her inside. Chizuki going to climb out of the vehicle and walk around, talking about exactly what he can do. He can try to stop the bleeding, but they need somewhere for him to operate. He doesn't know too much about what's happened, but that wound looks serious. Is there a place at UA where he can set her down? Yeah, there is. Listen, clear the barricade. What? Deku going to actually turn. Seeing what's happening, we're going to walk over, bring his hands out and pushing into one of the cars. Deku immediately going to push into it before he's a turn, bring his hand up and going to actually pick the car up. Before he does, going to toss it towards one of the buildings and turn. Shizuki putting the car back in a drive and beginning to move. And there actually is Deku, who doesn't watch the vehicle drive past quickly. Him going to turn and follow. Shizuki driving faster than the road, hitting into a few of the zombies before Izuku, he has to see a relentless. One of the dog-like zombies with the knives on their tails. It beginning to move towards the vehicle. And Deku, he doesn't start to move. Bring his hands up as Shizuki, he is driving fast. Him seeing the variant and trying to get ready. Before Izuku just goes sprinting past the vehicle and smashing directly into the zombie. Bring his hand up and pinning it to the ground. Before Deku, he has to pull his hands backwards. And he does go to actually stare at them. Because his hands are covered in... What the hell is this? It's not blood. I'm trying to shake it off. before staring at this black-like material in his hand. Uh-huh. But he tore into its armor. Nejire. Him going to turn back before moving back towards the gates to UA and going to open them up. Currently, Chizaki sitting there. For the zombies, they can be seen in the courtyard. Deku bringing his hand up and going to let out a scream. As the zombies do begin to move around, the vehicle going to drive past some of the zombies, they do begin to watch on. Chizaki being able to pull the car in before he is able to park in an area. Currently, them going to get out as the zombies, they do begin to make their way towards the humans. And Mei doesn't see this. Before Izuku, he does just want to stand there, bring his hands up, and going to express to the zombies. Not seeing a thing. And Mei doesn't see it. Deku holding his hands up. Before he does, just gonna stand there. And the zombies all stop, responding to him. That's weird. Currently, her going to turn, helping Chizaki get Nejire out of the vehicle and currently making their way towards the door. Deku turning and going to follow, trying to express to them about what to do. And right now, they do get Nejire into a room. Chizaki trying to look around for what he can to help her out. However, her wound, it's still bleeding. If they can't stop it, it's going to get worse. If they can't get the bullet out, it's going to be a whole lot worse. That thing is still in there. It did not go all the way through. And Deku does sit there. Currently him holding down pressure and staring at Nejire. Concerned, worried. He won't let her die. He can't let her die. This is his Nejire. It's his Nejire. He just needs to seal up the wound. That on his mind. And Deku does begin to see something materialize around his forearms. Before it does, going to begin to wrap around and make its way down. Currently going around Izuku's hands and then going to wrap down and around Nejire. Before it is a wrap around her waist and she has to somewhat let out a sound. Her going to let out a bit of an exaggerated breath and a bit more of a grunt, showing a lot of pain as pressure is being applied. And Deku, he does pull his hands back, confused about what's going on. Looking down and seeing this material wrapping around her body. It's a black-like material. What the hell? Deku looking down at his arm and staring at it. It connected to his body. This doesn't look right. What the hell is this thing? Deku bringing his hand up and then going to pull it off. Before turning, asking Chizaki if he's got anything to help her out with now. He stopped the bleeding. He thinks. He doesn't get it though. Chizaki walking over, looking down and seeing Nejire, who's no longer bleeding, but that wound, it's covered. Bringing his hand down and checking to see how sturdy this seal is. Telling Izuku, he's intrigued by this. What did he do? I don't know. You don't know? No. I just... This thing came out of my arm. I wanted to stop the bleeding, and I did. That's good. Listen, I'm not gonna try to lie to you, kid. This looks bad. Really bad. Right now, if I had to guess, she's in shock. So that means she's lost more than 10% of her body's blood. I'm not gonna say it looks good. I've got supplies in my lab outside, but I don't know if they're gonna be right for this. I have stuff to study you, not stuff for surgery. a knife, but no, no. Cauterizing, it's going to be bad. If we leave the bullet inside, that's still going to be worse. Okay. Listen. No, fuck. One of her organs, one of her organs could be worse, and that requires an actual open surgery to fix. I need you to go to a hospital. Now. Tell me what you need. Shizuki, begin to list a few things off. Right now, they're going to need a lot. She is going to need to stay there and lie still. Whatever he did is going to be keeping the blood inside her body. She's still bleeding, but now she's bleeding internally. As far as they're aware, she's still losing blood. She needs supplies, medicine, and a few things on the list that might be hard to find. There's a hospital not too far. If the kid heads there and gets everything, then they can save her life. But if he doesn't get everything on that list, then she's going to die. No, 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 no. I'll go right now. I'm going to turn and leave. Shizuki going to tell Izuku. Hang on a sec. What is it? Make sure you get me surgical tools. I need them sharp, cleaned, and sterilized. Whatever you do, get me them fast. Along with that, try and find blood. Are you serious? At a hospital? It might not be good, but just check. Just in case. I'll see what I can do to test your blood type while you're gone. It should take me a few minutes. Can I get back outside? You should be able to. But there's things outside. The gate's still open. They might wander. They're going to turn before making his way over to a door and going to whistle. However, when he does step out and begin to bring his hand up, there is where someone they do go to stand there. Mina, bring her hand up and onto the wall. Deku going to turn and stare at her, before expressing to her about what's happening. One of his friends got shot. Help Dr. Chizuki. Don't hurt him, don't bite him. He's leaving. When he comes back, everything should be in proper order. Does she understand? Mina nodding her head, before expressing. She'll make sure everything's okay. They're not hurt. Kill zombies? Kill them if you need to. Help them move things inside. Him turning, quickly making his way down the hallway, telling Mina to make sure that one is still locked inside. Her understanding as Izuku makes his way over to an open window. Currently, him jumping out and going to fly down. Smashing down and I'm going to turn. Beginning to run as he's a leap forwards and leap onto the wall for Yue. Him going to stand on top of the wall before he has a turn. Going to step off and leap through the air. Currently Deku smashing on the side of a building and beginning to climb up. Currently him using his bare hands to smash into the concrete. Before he has to climb on top of the building and turn, running that way towards the hospital. And Shizuki, he does a turn looking back at Nedre, walking over and looking at this substance. He's never seen anything like it before. Okay. So this is adding to a theory of his. Him bringing his hand down, thinking about taking a sample. However, if he does cut it, that might relieve pressure. And she needs all of it she can on this wound. Him bringing his hand up, checking her heart rate, which has been dropping. Okay, so let's begin. Him saying there, before turning and asking Mina for her help, as Mei does look around Yue. It's weird. and then currently Straczynski, he's come walking out of the room. Her snapping out of it and beginning to help everybody treat Nedre's injury. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.